Good morning and welcome back to the Falcon Report. I'm your host today, Will Ferrullo. Today we have a special episode, but first the intro. Seniors Chris Ward and Travis Hayden bring you our very first episode of Fairfield's Famous, where they speak to former Fairfield residents who are now world-renowned. This episode, we talked to James Blake, a Fairfield High School alum who became a professional tennis player. He was once ranked as number 4 in the world. We won't make you wait any longer. Here's Fairfield's Famous.
You might not know this, but the town of Fairfield has produced quite a few famous people. In fact, one of those people was once ranked number 4 in the world in professional tennis at one point. Today we are talking about James Blake. Originally born in Yonkers, New York, the game of tennis was already in Blake's blood. His father learned to play when he served in the United States Air Force, and his mother played tennis as a student in Banbury, England. In fact, Blake and his brother Thomas played tennis regularly at the 369th Armory in Harlem. At the age of 6, his family moved to Fairfield, Connecticut, where he attended Fairfield High School before our schools had divided. He went on to play tennis for Harvard University for 2 years and was the number 1 ranked college tennis player in the nation as a sophomore, after which he chose to go professional, where he would compete in many high-level tournaments.
What exactly did your time at Fairfield mean to you? Like, looking back on it.
Fairfield is, I don't think kids recognize it as much. Like I was saying earlier, how really ideal the situation is. You're close to the water. You've got a pretty safe community. You've got great public schools. There's a lot. There's so much positive about it. I mean, I now that I live in San Diego, I can say maybe the weather isn't perfect, but it's still it's still pretty nice. And so I had tons of positive memories about growing up in Fairfield, and I think kids should definitely take advantage of all the opportunities they've been given there in Fairfield. I'd say some of the memories I had with the tennis team were a lot of fun. A lot of players that played a lot of the national events and stuff as a junior didn't play a lot of high school tennis, but for me, playing with Coach Honey, John Honey, was awesome. It made it so that it was fun. It was fun for me to do, and it didn't. It wasn't something I even thought twice about. A lot of players would have skipped the high school season and just played the national events and the sectional events. But I loved my team. My freshman year, my brother was on the team as well. He was a senior when I was a freshman. After that, it just sort of felt like I was. Even though I was sophomore, even when I was a sophomore and junior, I kind of felt a little bit like the leader of the team after Mr. Honey, just because I was the number 1 player, and I just felt like I was hopefully helping a lot of the guys to practice, work a little harder, and do as well as we possibly could. But along the way, we had a lot of fun. I still remember some of the van rides. Some of the times Mr. Honey had to get a little upset at us. We were getting a little too out of control, but having a lot of fun. I mean, we had great trips up to states, up to away matches and stuff. And I just had a great time with those guys. For breakfast, Country Cow was and still is my favorite place for egg and cheeses. Those bacon, egg, and cheeses are about as good as I've ever had. At night, as I got a little older, maybe not as much when I was in high school, but when I got maybe college age, Archie Moore's, especially for the wings and stuff, was great. Centro over there was good, and Firehouse Deli. I miss a lot of spots in Fairfield. Yeah. I felt very lucky to have Fairfield Public Schools and to have things like that, where have my education that for me was my risk reward sort of. I had the risk that I could take to be a professional athlete, but I still had I don't want to call it completely a backup, but I had an education, and I wanted to always focus on my education and know that most people, 99% of the world, creates their job, has their career based on what they learned in school or their brains, not their bodies, the way I did. So I was very lucky to have that, but I also wanted to really focus on my studies and make sure that I had a real plan in place if things didn't go well, or if I happened to break my knee or break my ankle or tear my shoulder or some, whatever could have happened, that I was lucky enough that it didn't happen. I wanted to be able to have other careers that were possible.
What advice would you give to teenagers specifically in terms of pursuing their dream?
So I would always say, you absolutely, at your age, your teenagers, college years, absolutely think about your dreams, and you want to have those dreams. You want to have those goals. You want to have those ideals, and truly believe you can do it. For me, the best way to get to achieving a dream is to do it day by day. Not to, you can still have it in your mind 10 years from now. I'd love to be X, Y, and Z, whatever you want to be. But I think what's important for me, and what was really important for me, is what can I do today? What can I do tomorrow? And that makes it so much more achievable, because I know tomorrow I can get on the practice court for, say, 3 hours, and then get in the gym after that. And that's going to make me better. And then what can I do the next day? And then even one a day when it's just a rest day, okay, what do I need to do to make myself better today? And so for that, it becomes just your routine. And once you create a routine, a year goes by, 2 years go by, and you realize you've gotten in this pattern, and you almost don't recognize where you were 2 years ago, because you've done so much to get towards your dream. And then it becomes closer and closer, because sometimes when you just see it and you think, oh, it's so far away, I could never get there. If I had said it when I was in college, I want to be number 4 in the world, I've got, and seeing how far away that was, it would have been so difficult for me. So getting through the daily goals for me was really important.
We would like to thank James Blake for taking the time to speak with us. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a great weekend, Lolo.